If you're watching this story, you probably enjoy time spent behind the wheel of your favorite automobile on the open road, or tinkering with your car and finding the therapeutic value of making it just right. And so it is in Traverse City, Michigan, where Hagerty Insurance cooks up ways to promote these important pleasures, including the book they just published called Never Stop Driving. The book includes the works of an impressive variety of automotive writers, all celebrating automobile enthusiasm.
I grew up in a car-loving family, and almost every memory I have of growing up with my dad and in our house was spent in the garage or playing with cars, and all I dreamed about growing up was learning to drive and getting to drive in every way. So when I was out on the riding lawnmower at 9 years old or whatever it was, that was the beginning. That was just my training wheels course and learning how to drive, and I've been doing it ever since. It was many years later in leading our business, Hagerty, primarily just in the insurance space, which, even though insurance is a fine business, there's certainly nothing wrong with it. It's not the most exciting thing to talk about on a daily basis. But we had just ever increasingly become confident in this idea that we're really an automotive lifestyle company. We're about enabling people's passion. We're about helping people get out there and enjoy cars in whatever way they want to. If they want to drive them on the track, great. We're not going to insure you on the track. If you want to drive them on long trips, great. That's wonderful. If you want to take your family out for ice cream, isn't that fantastic? So we've always had this very liberal view that the classic car world, the collector car world, the enthusiast car world is not just about wealthy people, and it's not just about vehicles that are very, very old, but just cars that are fun to drive. So we made it the entire mission of the company to focus on this larger purpose of saving driving. The way we hire people, the programs that we do, the new businesses that we would enter, but we really needed to seize the intellectual high ground. This is about a thoroughly modern pursuit, that driving is something that can appeal to the next generations, and it can appeal across generations. So one of our first efforts was to create this book.
Well, Never Stop Driving was just another way for us at Hagerty to really promote our mission of saving driving. We want to make sure that driving and cars are available for future generations. We certainly welcome some of the benefits of autonomous driving, but as we know, commuting's not driving. And what we wanted to make sure is that we were making the case to the broader public, and we were trying to take the conversation higher little notches than just like we like to burn rubber. One of the things we wanted to do was to go beyond the already car fans and just normal folks that want to understand what this means to us. One of the ways we thought we would do that is we split it up into 4 sections. And the first section is the commitment, which we sort of looked as like a roadmap as to get into the hobby. We wanted to really break down the barriers, because to those who are already car folks, it looks kind of easy. You buy a car, you hang out with your buddies, you go to Cars and Coffee. But to those outside, we wanted to say, no, this is not as hard as you thought. Here are ways to do it, but also to really also highlight the fun of the hunt. It's part of the whole thing, and to just sort of broaden the scope for maybe why we love it. The second segment, Peace in the Wrenches, right? This is a little bit of the revenge of analog. This whole idea that there is value in the analog world. And I'm very personally invested in that, because my sons and I work on cars all the time. I get a lot of value in tinkering at night, and so I wanted to figure out, okay, is there a bigger reason for this? So I went out and I spoke to a bunch of doctors and psychologists and sociologists and say, what's going on here? And it turns out there's huge value in hands-on activities to our mental health. And not just our mental health, but our mental creativity. So when I wrote the treatment for this book, or maybe the outline for it, I was really interested in this idea of our supercharged neurological system, right? Because if you think about it, our bodies can only take us at maximum speed of 25 miles an hour. Yet, we can get in a car, pilot it at 50, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, take in all this data, and then process it and act on it. This, to me, is pretty cool. And maybe it's why speed on its own is really interesting. So the third section was really investigating just why is driving feel so good. There's of course the freedom of movement, taking you to places, but there's also some aspect to speed that is pleasurable. And I think it's part of our human DNA. Finally, we wanted to wrap all up the cultural impact of the automobile, the social impact, the social importance, how it brings people together. You know, the automobile has a lot of ingrained benefits in that its size, it's exciting. Everybody can participate and there's a lot of aspects to it. So we wanted to make the case that there are all kinds of people from all walks of life that value this, and not just for the fun of it, but also the cultural and the historical perspective. So we were trying to capture it with that.
We're often asked what the next steps might be, you know, beyond doing things like publishing books about, you know, Never Stop Driving and about our youth programs and things like this. But almost everything that we're talking about today is about how can we lower the bar of getting people behind the wheel. And so some of our new programs right now are all about driving education. We created a partnership with Skip Barber where we're teaching young people not just to drive, but to go out and have fun, but in a racetrack environment. Don't go fast on public roads, that's illegal, it's dangerous. Let's go out there on a track, and you're not gonna learn to race, but you can learn what a car can really do. Running those types of programs. Lots of ways to get young people behind the wheel just so that it's fun. But to me, it's about just getting people simply behind the wheel of anything. And it doesn't really matter what it's worth. It's just to see the smiles, to see the cell phone go in the glove box. That's what Hagerty's all about. And I think that for anyone who has gotten a lot of value out of enjoying driving in their life, we all just need to put the polishing cloth away. Don't worry if kids get fingerprints on it. Just get them in the car and go out for a drive.